Hey guys, Work here. Welcome back to Work the Trigger, your source for all things guns. Today we're going to be building off of our Tac Ultra project a little bit with a review on this guy. This is the Tac Ultra MSHC combo from Rock Island. Let's get to work. So, the Tac Ultra MSHC combo from Rock Island is a commander size, that means a 4¼ inch barrel, Tac Ultra in 9mm and 22 TCM. This is the HC, which means it is a high capacity model. It comes with one 17-round double stack magazine and all the fixins for the conversion. Now the disclosure segment, yes, Rock Island sent this to me, and yes, they did send me 2 magazines. I do have a link in the description down below for Mec Gar magazines for the Para P18, which fit this perfectly and function flawlessly, and even come with the right base pads. So essentially this is that full-size Tac Ultra that we've already played with and already reviewed, but knocked down to a commander length barrel. Now this does also have the reduced dust cover, which gives us a kind of cool looking little hook down at the bottom. It does have our standard 1911 grip safety, which is, it's actually a pretty nice smooth grip safety. It doesn't creak and groan around a little bit. I've felt poorly fitted 1911 safeties before, and this one's nice and it moves pretty freely. So let's work our way down on some of the features. First up, we've got the same sights as our standard Tac Ultra. That includes the kind of orange front fiber optic rod that we get in the Tac Ultra. Now, I did hear that that is caused by the oil that they ship these in and how it reacts to that. It kind of cloudens up the fiber optics rod, so it doesn't carry as much light as some of the dedicated or like brand new fiber optic rods, like if you were to go out and get a set of Dawson's. The rear is adjustable for elevation and windage and does have 2 dots to make kind of a 3-dot sight setup, but since we all know 3-dot sights are a farce, we're not going to talk about that too much. Going down from there, we've got kind of Rock Island's standard finish on this thing. Their finish is known for being subpar, but for what you're getting, for what you're paying for these, it's not too bad. You do have an ambidextrous safety. You got one over here on the right side and one on the left side over here. The ambidextrous safety in use does dig into my firing hand a little bit. I have apparently an unusually high grip, and when I grip a pistol, like, you can see that it smooshes right into the top of my trigger finger there because my trigger finger is so high up. That's apparently just me. I haven't heard of a whole lot of other people having that issue, but if you do traditionally grip a pistol very high, you may have that problem with the ambidextrous safety. I'd really actually like to try this with a non-ambidextrous safety, see what that does to it. Our grips are the same grips as on the Tac Ultra. They're very similar to the Ops grips from VZ or Cool Hands. They're not overly aggressive. I would actually like them to be a little bit more aggressive, but for stock grips on a 1911, they're also not bad. Now, as I said, we do have that dust cover up here, which does include a rail, and that is a standard Picatinny rail, which will allow you to mount a flashlight or something like a Mantis X up front. The trigger on this is very similar to our Tac Ultra trigger. It's a good trigger as far as this quality of 1911 goes. We are working with the Series 70 trigger, so we don't have the slop of lifting that firing pin block like we do in a Series 80. Our trigger pull weight is just over 3.5 pounds, and overall movement is a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. Now, as I said, this is a 17-round magazine, so you do have a longer grip here than you would see in something else with around a 4¼ inch barrel. It does fit a 17-round magazine just fine, and those magazines slide in and come out perfectly. Magazine release works smoothly and is okay to get a hold of. This does suffer from the same problem as our full-size Tac Ultra did, where the grip portion is very big. This is a handful to get your hands on and actually hold. Now, I'm not saying that it's difficult to shoot. It's actually relatively simple to shoot, but you are going to have to be sure of your pistol grip and making sure that you know exactly how you're gripping this, because if you've got an insufficient grip, like you're a thumbs down kind of guy, you're going to have issues controlling this particular gun. Another thing that helps out a little bit with that shootability with that longer grip is the weight. Let's check and see how much this thing weighs. By my scale here, we're sitting at 2 pounds 9.5 ounces. So she's a little bit on the heavy side, but that's kind of the point of this particular gun. You're working with a heavy gun with a lot of ammo that makes it relatively easy to shoot for its size. And it is easy to shoot for its size. The recoil impulse is very nice and smooth. The trigger is exceptional in firing. Trigger snobs may pick it out as being a little bit on the long side, but when you're actually using it and shooting it, you really don't notice it. And that goes for both 9mm and the 22 TCM, which we will talk about here in just a minute. Now, before we wanted to just talk about that, I wanted to bring up the purpose of this particular firearm. Now, as I said, this is a commander size firearm, which is generally speaking more designed towards carry. However, the Tac Ultra, she's a bit big. The grip size on this, because it is that double size grip, will stick out of an appendix rig really badly. It's really difficult to be able to conceal this in an appendix rig. It's difficult to conceal it pretty much anywhere because of the grip size of it. It's just big. You take a Glock 17 or something, you're going to look at about the same grip length, but this grip is easily wider than pretty much any Glock you're going to grab. So if you do plan on carrying this, you're probably going to end up looking at an outside the waistband holster or something. Since it is a 1911 anyway, what other direction would you want to go? Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that would be 22 TCM. So here's a 9mm, here's a 22 TCM. You can see that they are very similar in overall size. We've got the same diameter on the two of them. The 22 TCM actually starts to neck where the 9mm usually ends the case. So what that is essentially you're pushing about as much powder as a 9mm has, except you're forcing a 22 caliber round down the tube instead of that 9mm round. What that's going to do is that's going to increase velocity a lot. So the Tac Ultra does come with this. This is the 22 TCM barrel. You can see I got the 22 TCM, fits right in the barrel there. Let's toss a 9mm down there just to see. You can see the 9mm will not go down that. The 22 TCM round is slightly fluted in there to allow it to fall completely down into the barrel. So it does come with the barrel and the recoil spring to be able to convert it to 22 TCM. Converting itself, basically akin to field stripping and pulling the barrel out of the gun. A relatively easy process considering what you're getting, an entire second caliber. And I tell you this, if you buy this gun, the second caliber is what you're buying it for. Yes, 9mm is a fun round to shoot through this. It handles recoil relatively well, but I'll tell you, if you're just looking for a fun 9mm 1911 to be able to shoot with low recoil, get the full-size Tac Ultra. This guy, what you want is the 22 TCM. That is where this really comes alive. The 22 TCM is a thunderbolt of a round. I'll tell you, the first time I shot this thing, I was at an indoor range and I hated it. Okay. Because of the concussive force that blasted back at me. I was standing right up against a wall. After my first time of shooting this outside, I completely changed my mind about 22 TCM. It is one of the most fun handgun rounds that I have ever shot. And I've shot a lot of handgun rounds. The accuracy is about equivalent to a 9mm when you really look at it. It took me a while to get that just because of flinching, because of the pure sound that was coming off of it. But once I got over that, it was relatively easy to get the same groups with 22 TCM as I did with 9mm. The fireball is freaking gigantic compared to anything, and the recoil is borderline non-existent. The recoil spring setup they have, along with the just inherently low recoil of the round itself, means that this thing can be shot all day without any fatigue. Now, whether your wallet can handle shooting it all day or not, that's another story. 22 TCM is not widespread and it is not cheap. On a good day, you can find some arms core for around like $18 for a box of 50. Typically speaking, you're looking up towards 25-ish. That being said, thank you very much to Rock Island for sending out our Arms Core 22 TCM ammo to be able to use in this test. So with all that being said, what is the point of the Tac Ultra MSHC? Well, it's just freaking fun. Even if you don't plan on carrying this thing, this is a fun gun to own. Now, I am particularly not purchasing this one. I told you guys with the full-size Tac Ultra, I did purchase that one. This one I did not purchase. The Tac Ultra full-size, we had a specific plan for that and a project for that. This one is going to be going back over to Rock Island, finding a new home. Now, I do have more Rock Island stuff coming, so keep an eye out on the channel if you're interested in that. But I'll tell you, this is just a fun gun to shoot. 9mm or 22 TCM. The low recoil and excellent trigger make it a blast to be able to shoot for a good long time. It does have a big grip, so if you have smaller hands or kind of a weak grip on your pistol, you may have some issues. Now, that being said, I have tiny child hands, and I can grip this firearm just fine and control recoil. So more than likely, if you're having some issues with it, you probably need to do a little bit of playing with your grip and not so much sell the pistol. But that's it for this time, guys. The review of the Rock Island Tac Ultra MSHC, the little 9mm and 22 TCM Commander Size 1911 from Rock Island. If you found this video useful, go ahead and like and subscribe down below. We got a lot of this type of video coming. We're going to be switching formats a little bit on the channel, guys. We're going to be sticking a lot more to gun reviews, vlogs, and all of that kind of stuff. We're going to be shifting a lot of our tutorial stuff over to a sister channel just to be able to minimize the chances of us getting shut down. Remember, we also have live streams every Thursday night over on that channel. You'll catch a link in the description down below to it. Don't forget to hit us up on Instagram and Patreon at Work the Trigger. Post all of our own memes and all our own gun pictures over on Instagram, and on Patreon you get a little bit early access to some of these videos, as well as an easier way to get a hold of me. Remember, guys, I appreciate every one of you, and until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.